Hello, hello, hello everyone. Welcome. It is Wednesday, July 22nd, 2020. A lot of 20s today. In fact, it's interesting, I just looked at the time when it was 12:12. So I saw 12:12 on July 22nd, 22 in the year 2020. So a lot of twos going on. I'm still in Fort Wayne, Indiana. It is cloudy today right now. I think the temperature's upper 70s, supposed to be like 81. And it was interesting, it just had some light rain that popped up for about 2 minutes and then it went away. So hopefully we'll keep the rain away. In fact, I don't think I've ever, I guess I've done a Facebook Live in the rain. Yeah, it was actually in Phoenix when it was pouring down rain when I was out there in March. They had a lot of rain, like monsoon rains in March, which was highly unusual for Phoenix. So they don't normally get their monsoon season until July. Speaking of rain, so it did rain here this morning, and I went down to Planet Fitness to work out, and worked out for probably, I don't know, an hour, and then came outside. Well, on my way down, on my drive down to Planet Fitness, it took about, I don't know, 15 minutes to get down there. It was not raining. When I worked out, it was not raining. And then when I got done working out with my upper body with weights, I went outside to walk and to talk. Call them walkie-talkies. So I was outside walking and talking and came around the back part of this building, the storage building, and heard rain like kind of gushing out of the gutters. And I'm like, well, that's weird. I'm like, why is that? You know, it's not raining. And it hasn't rained for like 90 minutes at least. So I'm like, why is it kind of gushing out of the gutters? Lord, that's a weird anomaly. And I just kind of sense the Lord saying, you know, I want to bless you. I want to bless, you know, the things you've gone through for me, and water, refreshing, and so forth. And so, speaking of other things that are anomalies, so I just got here under this oak tree, and I've been doing that for the last couple of days, doing my Facebook Lives from under this oak tree. But for the first time ever, I'm hearing things drop from this oak tree, which are acorns. And I must have heard at least 50 acorns that have dropped, and they're still dropping right now. And I don't understand what's making them drop. I'm like, why are the acorns dropping, Lord? And so you might see an acorn drop on my head for the first time in Facebook Live history, because some of them have come within like a foot of me. Hopefully they don't hit the camera. I mean, I can hear it right now. There's like, it's almost like raindrops, but it's acorns. And so a friend of mine, who's actually on here now watching, had sent me what the acorns meant. I was oblivious. I'm like, I didn't look up what's an acorn mean. I don't know. So anyway, she sent it to me and I read it, and this is really interesting. This is really, again, I think it's prophetic of the Lord. I love what the Lord does. I love it when he does these surprises. I call them what God winks, where they're like coincidences, Christ-cidences, God-cidences. Anyway, this is what it said. It says, the acorn is the seed of the mighty oak tree and symbolizes potential, strength, honor, longevity, bountifulness. It said, with the oak leaves and the acorns combined, they mean power, authority, and victory. And I'm like, what? No way, Jose. I'm like, that is awesome. I go, so I will take that in Jesus' name. Take Jesus' power, his authority, and victory over the enemy. In fact, I see the number 17 frequently, some of you know that, which means complete victory, overcoming the enemy. And so anyway, I had no clue about what these acorns meant, other than there goes another one, boop. Goes another one, boop. I mean, they're like everywhere. I didn't know July was the time for acorns to fall from oak trees. Here comes another one. Oh my gosh, it's like raining acorns. I've never seen this before. Just hope it doesn't cracked my iPad. So anyways, that's nuts. That's, oh my gosh, I didn't mean to say, I didn't mean to make a play on that. That's funny. But it is nuts. It's literally nuts. Acorn falling from the sky, from the oak tree. And I would have guessed they would have fallen like in the month of September or October when the leaves come off, but not now, July. So anyway, fun. I love, you know, when you get delivered, you have fun. You have fun. You can laugh at yourself. You can have an acorn knock you in the head and you can laugh about it. And it's funny. When you're not, oh, here comes one, I think, I can hear it like starting from like 30 feet up and then it goes, toot, 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 and then pop down on the ground. But anyway, when you get delivered and stuff, you can laugh, you can have fun, you have childlike innocence, you know, and then the demonic spirits in other people will hate you. They will be so mad because you're laughing. There goes another one. Actually, that was a limb or a twig of a limb. So anyway, but you can laugh, you can have fun, you can have childlike innocence, go on bike rides, go on hikes, you do fun things, and you don't get all mad and angry. And those who have not gotten delivered yet, they're going to get mad and they're going to get angry at you. How dare you have fun? How dare you laugh? How dare you be nice and sweet and loving and godly, you know? And we're seeing that. We're seeing a whole bunch of people out there in the world that are manifesting more and more and more, which really plays in to the topic of today. Oh, there's an ant. Goodbye, ant, on my iPad. How did the ant get on my iPad? Are the ants now falling from the sky? Oh my gosh, it's gonna get in my hair. Anyways, so yesterday, remember how I talked about the song by Matthew West called Truth Be Told and how it's like never being played on the radio? Well, I heard it again. This is the third time since Saturday here in Fort Wayne on 90.1 FM. So every time I hear that, I'm like, oh my gosh, because remember, I've been playing that since February. I heard it for the first time in January. It came out last October. They said it's a new song that he has, but I'm like, what makes it new? It's been out available since October, so it's, I guess within a 12-month period they call them new. But anyway, I'm so happy that they're playing that song because I said, my gosh, they gotta play that every day throughout the world, because Truth Be Told by Matthew West is all about being honest and being truthful, and that's how you get set free from the enemy. If we keep things private, if we cover things up, if we're not honest, then we can never get set free and healed. If we blame everything on everybody else and say, I'm perfect, I didn't do anything wrong, when in reality, maybe we're the ones that are controlling and manipulative and lying and prideful and arrogant, and we're blinded by the spirit of Leviathan in Job 41, which blinds us to seeing anything that we've ever done that's wrong. So then we can't get set free. So we got to be honest and say, yep, I did this thing and it wasn't really good. I'm so sorry for that. Please forgive me. And then we can get delivered. So got to forgive people that hurt us too. Breakthroughs. So the breakthrough events are really starting to take off, which is awesome. August 1st, Minneapolis Marriott West. We are getting more people every day that are signing up, and we've got a good another 10 days before the conference. So remember last time we had it a week's notice. We had, the room was about 2/3 filled. This time I'm declaring that we're gonna have overflow, that they're gonna have to bring in more chairs, even though we are, gosh, that was acorn was within 8 inches of, ow! I just got hit in my arm from an acorn. Yes, at least I didn't get hit in the head. I was thinking that would probably hurt, but man, that kind of, like a little light smack on my arm. Isn't that funny? Here comes another one. Okay, there's acorns. There's too many I've never seen this many acorns falling. Again, oak trees and acorns combined means power, authority, and victory. Yay, it's what we want. Now watch, it'll be a great big limb that will fall behind me, hopefully, and not hit me. Anyway, the breakthrough events are taking off. We have them advertised on Eventbrite, and they're free, so you can come. So those of you that are within 12-hour drive, come on out August the 1st to the Minneapolis Marriott West. Saturday night at 7 p.m. It's going to be a great time. Again, they can bring in more chairs. They said we've got it set up. We're going to set it up for 50 people, but they said they can get it up to 60. And if there's nobody in the room on the other side of the ballroom, they can open up the whole thing. We can get at least 100 people in there. So anyway, it's exciting. More and more people are coming out, and they're going to see miracles. They're going to see lifetimes of pain being healed by Jesus. No longer being angry and mad at your dad or your mom or your sister, your brother, all these various people that can hurt you. Your pastor, you know, your coach, your relatives, all that stuff. When we forgive, great things happen. When we repent for our own pride, our own sin, great things happen. People get healed physically from stuff they couldn't get healed from. So anyway, August 1st, we're doing a breakthrough event in Minneapolis, Minnesota, Marriott West. Again, remember I was up there July 11th, and we had great turnout for 1 week's notice. It was incredible, and then so many testimonies have come out of that, continue to come out of that. August 8th in Des Moines, West Des Moines, Iowa, at the Marriott on the west side again, and then August 15th in Omaha, Nebraska, at the Marriott on the west side. So all of these are taking place on the west. So go west, young man. Isn't that a saying, I believe? So today I posted the blog, which I'm going to be talking about, that's called People Are Manifesting Everywhere, which they are. Refuse to engage with the enemy. And there was a woman that was named Renee that just posted on Facebook about, 20 minutes ago. She said, I will not react in a way that I know is not God's way anymore. It's too exhausting. And that last word is the key. It's exhausting. And that's by design, is the enemy wants to exhaust us. The enemy loves to provoke, twist words, get you to go in circles, make you feel like you're going crazy, blame you for everything. And there's people that would call them, wow, I'm going to pick that up. It just fell out. Look, oh, there's another one coming. Look at that, it's like green. There you go. Green. And it like cracked open. You can see the inside of the acorn. Anyways, so there's acorns falling, just in case you just joined the show. Like every 10, 15 seconds, there's acorns falling. And acorns mean, again, what is it? With leaves and acorns, power, authority, victory, potential, strength, honor, longevity. Good stuff. So anyways, the enemy wants to engage us, wants to provoke us, wants to pull us in, wants us to, oh my gosh, yeah, green. That is green, isn't it? I forgot. It is. I didn't know that you could get an acorn that's got a green top on it. Oh my gosh. This just fell. Oh my gosh. What is going on, Lord? It's never done this in the last 4 times I've been here to do a Facebook Live. What's gonna fall out next? A monkey, maybe. Yeah, I wanna see a monkey. That would be, it would probably be fun at first, but then eventually, I don't know, monkeys can do strange things. So yes, prospering green acorn. Gosh, they're everywhere. This is weird. Anyways, so the enemy wants to throw everything at you. And oftentimes the enemy is those that are in the church, those that are maybe considered prophetic, or they're gifted, they're anointed, they can sing songs, they can worship lead, they can intercede, all that stuff. If they're not delivered, if they have not gotten their soul wounds healed, they have not forgiven people for hurting them, and truly given them to the Lord, whoever it was that hurt them, if they've not done that, and if they've not repented for their own pride and stuff, then they could be harboring, listening to demonic spirits. And then that's going to cause them to infect new people. You know, it's very interesting about the whole CV-19 and the infections and all that stuff going on. You know, what the real pandemic is the demonic world of people being hurt, and then they pass it on down to their own children by years of saying mean things to them or doing bad things to them. We see that as a transference method way more than anything else, is because you get a dad or a mom that gets hurt, and then they end up hurting their own children. They want to infect their own children, the demonic spirits do. And then they oftentimes use the Bible to twist the scriptures, saying, well, ow, it just, oh my God. Another green acorn top just hit my knee. That's nuts. And it is, it's a nut. I didn't mean to do that again, and it did it again. So anyway, there's another one, and it's green. So the Lord must be having fun, and the angels, they're up there probably smacking all these acorns off the tree and trying to see who can hit Nelson in the head. Ow, they're really getting close. Okay, I gotta get this done. I got 40 minutes left, and oh my gosh. All right, so people are manifesting everywhere, so refuse to engage with the enemy. So I'm going to read this and hopefully not get hit. When stressful times come, and it's stressful when you're getting acorns falling from a tree, from an oak tree, and you might get, yeah, I need an umbrella. In fact, I've got a different chair today. I have like a nice chair, not the chair that you take to a soccer game. It's from the house I'm staying at. All right, when stressful times come, demons cause people to trigger into an alternate personality of fear, anger, jealousy, and evil more often, and thus arguments and strife will occur at a more frequent pace. So obviously since March, a lot of people have been stressed out. A lot of people. You know, when people have a regular routine that they go through, then they can typically get along better. But once your routine is upended and changed, which we've gone from this pandemic, people are getting sick, like what, everybody in the world? Then we better batten down the hatches, we better pull back, we better stay in the homes, not go out. And then when we start to assess what's going on, oh, there's a 99% recovery rate? Oh, well then I guess, okay, this is just like, you know, the regular flu. I guess we can go ahead and go back to work. And then people start going back to work. Let's start opening up again so we can get our hair cut and we don't look like Grizzly Adams. You know, by the way, I had to cut my hair, I think, at least twice by myself. That was an adventure. I hope I don't have to go back to that. But again, like in California, then they pull back the ranks and say, okay, no more. We can't have these open. You can't get your hair cut unless you go outside. That's it. That's the ticket. Go outside and get them cut. And I'm like, what? What? You're going crazy now on this, Governor Newsom. Stop. And so, oh my gosh, this just fell. Look at this. Acorn. It's got green inside of it. But the outside of it's kind of harder. Anyways, so when you're not sure whether you can, oh my gosh, if you can finish a Facebook Live and not get pummeled by 1,000 acorns, but if you're not sure if you can go to work and get paid, you know, because that affects people. You know, when people can't go out anymore, you know, people that are, for instance, gosh, it's everywhere. Like trying to sell real estate, you know, don't know if I'm going to have a job or not, so I can't sign to buy a new house. All this ripple effect that goes throughout, you know, restaurants, can't go out to eat anymore. You know, think about all those really nice restaurants that cost a whole bunch of money, and then people couldn't go out to eat there anymore. And then they had to come by the curb and things like that, and a lot of people didn't want to do that, so they go to the fast food places. So it affects people. You know, can't go to church. Can't go to church now. Nope, I might get the CV-19. Um, isn't it fun to laugh, and to smile when you don't take things super duper seriously? The enemy is evil, and the enemy is causing people to do bad things, like try to kill judges. That just came out a couple days ago, where this judge, this person dressed up as a FedEx man, and tried to. Did you hear that? That's an acorn that hit really hard. Golly. Anyway, he came by a judge's house and tried to kill the judge because she took over the Epstein case. Gosh, it's everywhere. Have anyone ever been under an acorn tree when it's falling like this? I have never seen. I don't understand this. I'm afraid to get a drink of water because an acorn's going to drop into my water. But anyway, this FedEx person killed the 20-year-old son of the judge and shot her husband, who was a criminal defense attorney, and she was downstairs. And the husband's now in critical care, and the son died. And she was implemented by Obama, and yet she took over the case for Epstein and whatever else that's involved in all that. So the enemy plays dirty and wants to come against and cause fear and kill, steal, and destroy. Those who are Christians don't tend to go out and riot and throw a bunch of fits. They are normally more calm and loving and Christ-like, which you never really remember reading much in the Bible about Jesus going out and doing protests and rioting. He did, though, however, turn over the tables. He got righteously angry. Yes, he did that once. And I'm sure he probably, in the back of his mind, would have loved to righteously have turned over some of the Pharisees and scribes, but he never did it, did he? No, he kept himself under control. Oftentimes he left. He went up to the mountains to get his peace back, get his peace on. So anyway, you can imagine when we are being attacked by people that are temporarily insane, maybe even permanently insane, and crazy because of the demonicness going on, with stressful times happening, it causes people to react, and they manifest, and they go berserko on people, so they feel anxious, they feel worried, they feel fearful, angry, jealous, confused, which leads them into striving and arguing much more than they normally would. You see it on Facebook. If I post something about President Trump that's positive, I'll get a whole bunch of people, oh my gosh, he is such an evil man. And I'm like, seriously? I'm like, have you watched my interview with his personal photographer, Gene Ho? Gene Ho observed President Trump behind closed doors. Gene Ho was a liberal. He liked Clinton. And then he took his pictures for a year and a half on the trail, the trail, like the trail out west. No, the Trump trail, Trump-Pence trail, when they were actually going from town to town, when they let them do that, when they were trying to become president. And so anyway, he observed him behind closed doors. He saw he was a man of integrity. He was a man of honor. And so that caused Ho to give his life to the Lord because of that. Well, then whoever hears that, the press will never run with that. But you can watch it on YouTube, and I've been trying to share it, saying, listen, this guy saw the real Trump, okay? I trust him. He's a good guy. He gave his life to Christ, his wife, friends on Facebook now. So, gosh, ow! Okay, this is enough. This just hit my iPad. Unbelievable. There must have been at least 200 acorns that have fallen since I started doing this. That's nuts. Again, for those just joining, it's a good thing apparently to have acorns and oak trees and leaves. It means power, authority, and victory. Bountifulness, strength, honor, longevity. So I'm not going to say more Lord, because I don't want to get hit in the head. I have not gotten hit in the head yet, though. Got hit in the arm, got hit in the leg, got hit in the iPad a couple of times. All right, let me go back. Oh my gosh. Okay, Lord, you're making this a little hard for me to get through. All right. Thus the demons are speaking to people at a much more bold and frequent level than ever before, as they know that their time is getting shorter on earth. before Christ's return. Also, witches are actively cursing people more, and they're having schools of ministry online, acting like they are Christians when they're not, teaching people how to astral project and how to curse in a way. In fact, it's interesting, the witches, what I've learned from one witch in particular is that she would say that all the people that would come against her were enemies, and she'd be very angry and post mad things all the time on Facebook, things that were really weird and bizarro. And then people that read them would be like, oh wow, she's so much above us mere mortals in her spirituality. I'm like, no, she's weird, she's angry, she hasn't got her soul wounds healed yet. And she thinks it's good to astral project on people. She thinks it's good to curse those who don't agree with her methods of witchcraft. And then she calls them her enemies and thinks that she is a godly Christian woman. So there's witches out there who are programmed to start activating now and going after people and getting into the churches and then causing a whole bunch of uproar and lying about good godly people, pastors, ministries, because we are entering into the last days, and we're seeing a whole bunch of bad stuff happen now. All right, in fact, I found out yesterday, July 21st, apparently was a day of great witchcraft for those that were witches. So if you were getting tormented more than normal, you can maybe thank your local witch for perhaps putting a curse on you, so vexing you, astral projecting on you. So anyway, I did not realize that until near the end of the day. So sorry about not giving you the heads up about their special days, because I don't follow them. All right, so I've heard from more people who have heard an increase from the enemy in their minds. So I get a lot of people respond to me every day, and again, thank you for the thousands of videos to watch about the latest, greatest CV stuff going on. I can't keep up with everything. I'm trying to keep up with my own ministry. And so anyway, but there's a lot of people who have reached out saying that they're hearing from the enemy in their mind. The enemy's telling them bad things to get them to be angry at fellow quote-unquote Christians, and arguing and striving on Facebook, social media. Some of them are hearing thoughts telling them to kill themselves. That's obviously demonic. And of course, the rate of suicide has also increased since March. Now you can imagine, if you are in the home with a bunch of people who have not gotten delivered yet, which the chances of that is like, I don't know, 95%, whether you go to church or not. So you're going to end up striving and fighting and arguing, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I can't stand you, and bad things happen. That's why they need to get delivered. Get their soul wounds healed, and then laugh and have fun, and have joy and have fun and have seasons in the sun, and laugh when acorns come falling down from an oak tree and hit your iPad, your arm, and your leg, and miss your head by 12 inches. So the enemy is having a great time watching all the people go after each other and provoke one another, getting them into arguments, striving, fighting, arguing, especially those who are church goers or former church goers, because most of the churches now have shut down out of fear and thinking that it's the right thing to do and so forth. And I get it when you initially had done it, but don't be doing it again, because now we're finding out that they're making up all these numbers, inflating them in a way that it's not cool. So anyways, buttons are being pushed more every day, children coming against their parents and vice versa, spouses fighting more with each other more frequently than ever. Employers are now monitoring. I have never heard this many acorns, ever. That's nuts. And I didn't mean to say that again. Okay, it's crazy there. Employers are monitoring their employees' posts on social media. And if they're saying anything that it would be like coming against the agenda of the enemy, or saying anything nice about President Trump or Christian values, then they are getting rebuked and threatened and told to not post on those subjects anymore, or they're going to be fired. Social media is, 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 is monitoring also social media, like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram is monitoring individuals' accounts for things posted and removing things that are slanted against the liberal agendas. Few are allowing grace to anyone, and many want to provoke as many as they can to get them into an argument and striving. All of this activity of manifesting demons in them is not enjoyable for anyone to have to observe, and is wearing people down to where they don't know what to do. They're getting exhausted. Like that one woman that posted saying, okay, I'm not going to strive and fight with anybody anymore because it's too exhausting. Because it is. It wears you down. You're like, oh my gosh, do we have to strive and fight and argue again? On and on and on and on. You know, that's the definition of insanity, is thinking that you're going to try something, that something's going to have a different result positively, but you do the same thing over and over again. And that's what you see in a lot of relationships, is they start to strive and fight and argue over and over and over again. And that's what the enemy wants you to do. You know, as far as me and my house, we will serve the Lord. And I will not strive. I will not fight. I will not argue. That's a waste of my time. It just seems really weird. Why would I do that? Why would I get into an argument? Now, it may be not an argument initially, but once you realize it's starting to spiral down that rabbit hole, then you need to pull back and say, we're done. And in some cases, you may have to block someone on social media if they want to go after you and go off on you. So it's just like the usual level of stress that we're seeing in the world. It was just turned up about 100 times greater due to CV-19. And now people are looking where they can jump off to the island of peace. Demons are especially manifesting in people who are having their evil behaviors exposed, as they don't like the light of truth to be shown upon them. So again, you can imagine if you are, say, acting like you're a godly person, and you go to a church, and then people actually start to learn about some of the deviant behavior that you do, and some of the things you've said and done to your own children, to your spouse, and it comes out the truth. And that's why it's so hard when a person has this spirit of Jezebel, is they're so good at being an actor or actress and acting like they're so pure and innocent, so sweet, so loving. They have oftentimes a voice, if they're on social media, that's very super duper sweet and stuff, when in reality their victims know otherwise. Their victims are like, are you kidding me? You are a fake. You are not that way in closed homes and cars. And so sometimes you want to videotape them and show the people this is who they really are. And when the people actually see that, then the person that has that spirit of Jezebel will really go off on you. They can't stand it to have their evil stuff be exposed. So 2 Timothy 2:22-26 says, flee also youthful lusts, but pursue righteousness, faith, love, peace with those who call on the Lord out of a pure heart. Okay, now I'm feeling some light rain come down. Gosh, I'm getting everything today. But avoid, it says, but avoid foolish and ignorant disputes. It means don't do it. Don't get into an argument. Don't get into strife. You know, what I normally do is, and I can kind of discern what a person can take and receive and what they can't. So if they need to be addressed with something, I'll say it in love. You always got to say it in love. But if they start to escalate and start to have a tone, and they start to get angry and stuff, then the best thing to do is to back off. Because if you continue to try to drive that issue with them, it will get into strife, fighting, arguing, and you'll exhaust yourself. You know, you can't have peace after a 10-minute argument. You know, if they can't receive what you're saying, then let them go. Give them to God. This is what these verses talk about. It says, and a servant of the Lord must not quarrel, but be gentle to all, able to teach, patient, in humility, correcting those who are in opposition, if God perhaps will grant them repentance, so that they may know the truth, that they may come to their senses and escape the snare of the devil, having been taken captive by him to do his will. So I see that when I post anything about President Trump, and again, he's not a perfect man, never said that, but he has changed from the old Trump prior to taking over the presidency. And that was prophesied. If people ever realized, Kim Clement had prophesied that Trump would come into the office not a praying president, but he would leave the office as a praying president, as a Christian, as a godly man. And that is why you can look at the behaviors of what he's doing, coming against abortion, coming against sex trafficking, coming against pedophilia, and bringing people to justice all over the world. And there's a whole lot of stuff going on that has not yet come to the surface that will. So people don't know that. And people are listening to the news and the media, of course, and the Democrats, they're going to have a whole negative, false thing being spun about him. What's it called? It's called a false narrative. A false narrative about him. So if we're believing the false narrative about him, then of course you're going to, I mean, if you're watching CNN and all the liberal media, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, he's evil. He's the second coming of Satan. He's the Antichrist. All these evil things. And then you end up talking to the person that I interviewed, Gene Ho, who saw him behind closed doors. And they're like, no, he's not like that at all, what they're painting. He's a really good guy. He's a man of integrity. Then you're like, what? He is? No, even then people wouldn't want to believe it, that have been sold all these lies. But I'm like, well, just listen to the man on my interview. He was with him. He knows him. You know, go straight to the horse's mouth. Anyways, ow! This just hit my my inner thigh. Another one, an acorn. That is so weird. How does it break like that? Because you can hear it. All right, back to my blog. When people try to get you into an argument with them, what should you do? Have you tried not participating? Jesus oftentimes went to the mountains to get away from the Pharisees and scribes who schemed to pull him into a debate. When you walk away or hang up the phone or delete the text or email or voice message, then you quickly diffuse the enemy's ability to keep the argument going. It's like you, say, have a candle that's burning, and here's the wick, and you take your finger and you put out the fire and the flame. Now there's nothing there to give it ability to burn anymore, so you've silenced the enemy at that point. Whereas the enemy wants to provoke you by saying something that's going to cause you to rise up and get angry. Well, then at that point you're putting more fuel on the fire, and it's going to get out of control, and you're going to say things that you don't really mean. They're going to say things they don't really mean. Before you know it, you hate each other. And you are, if you're a husband and wife, you're getting a divorce then. It's like, so normally it's the person that's really angry, that wants to strive and fight and argue a lot, that can't handle peace. And so when you pull away from them, oftentimes they won't like that, but you got to do it. You got to do what you got to do to keep the peace on. Change your thoughts from the evil that they tried to pull you into and think about something that is good, as the enemy wants you to ruminate on the evil words that the person said to you to steal your peace for as long as he can, into the night so you can't sleep, even on to the next day of the next week. The enemy loves to accuse you of things that are not true so that you will buy into it and believe it as truth of yourself. If a person speaks in love to you, something that needs to be addressed, then it always needs to be spoken in love and gentleness. But many who have not healed from their own soul wounds will speak things out of their pain and declare it over others and hurt them. Hurting people hurt people. And acorns, now it's starting to rain. Oh my gosh. Lord, what are you doing today? Anyway, hurting people hurt people, and healed people can free people and help them heal. So, and that's true. Wow, this has been an unusual Facebook Live. Okay, Philippians 4:8-9 says, meditate on these things. Finally, brethren, whatever things are true, whatever things are noble, whatever things are just, whatever things are pure, whatever things are lovely, whatever things are of good report, if there is any virtue and if there's anything praiseworthy, meditate on these things. That means think about these things. Don't be thinking about all the words that somebody accused you of yesterday, the day before, last week. Because when you do that, it's raining. At least I'm under the tree. But when you start thinking about the things that people say that aren't true about you, and you start believing those things as truth, then they're going to ruminate in your thoughts. You try and go to sleep at night, and you're going to hear what they said. And the enemy and the demonic spirits want you to think that those things are the truth, when they're not. You know, we all get people that will say things. Did you hear that? That light went ding. That hit my... This is nuts. This is crazy. This is unusual, highly. This is an anomaly day. Happy anomaly day. Man. So when people say things to you, though, that are negative, that are not true, and you believe them as truth, then what you want to oftentimes do is to stand up to them and say, no, 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 I'm not like this, I'm like this. And then that gets you into strife and fighting and arguing. And then you're on the enemy's territory at that point. That's why it's best to put that stuff out of your mind. It's best to not even entertain it. So if you can, when they're starting to try and strife and fight and argue with you, is delete it, don't even read it. Like if somebody's going to say something nasty to me, and I know it in the first couple words, I stop it, I delete it, I don't even listen to it. It never gets through. Same thing if somebody private messages me something mean, is as soon as I start to discern, oh, it's something bad, okay, it's of the enemy, it's demonic, I'm not reading it. Have a nice day. And I may have to block. Bye-bye, see ya. Why? Because if the enemy can get through, then he can cause you to have fear. Just like you think about Elijah. Elijah calls the fire down from heaven. He's the man, kills all these Baal prophets and Ashtoreth prophets. And then he gets one word, one message sent to him by Jezebel saying, it will be the same way for you tomorrow at the same time that happened to all my prophets that you did. So he gets into fear and he runs away and he wants to die. Had he not even gotten the message, guess what? He wouldn't have ran away. He wouldn't have been in fear. It's because the enemy likes to threaten and cause strife and arguing. All right. So I have received thousands of messages and calls from people around the world the last several years, and we're seeing more and more of it at an increasing rate at RTF because of CV-19, of people who express great sadness or frustration over something that someone said or did, and then after a few minutes of talking to them, redirecting them away from their situation and circumstances onto something good and hopeful, it's amazing to see how much better that they feel and how they're no longer sad. You know, sometimes it's like we can chat for 10 minutes and all of a sudden they're like, I'm not mad anymore, I'm not sad anymore, I've got hope, I feel good. It's kind of like a little pep rally. You're trying to shake the person and say, listen, let's shake off, shake it off, shake it off. Remember all those evil things and words that people said to you? It's like they get on you and you shake them off, and then you speak what is truth to the lies, and now you feel better. Oh my gosh. As I'm getting rained on and getting acorns dropping from the sky. This is a weird day. All right. Let me go on. The demons and people absolutely hate it when they can't get a rise out of their victims. So the next time someone tries to provoke you again, just ignore them and shut them down by not giving them any of your time. Hanging up, deleting their messages, walking away from them. You know, the enemy hates it. Like if they send you a private message trying to blast you, and then you say nothing back. They hate that. Well, I'm going to blast you more. Now you may have to block them, because then at that point they're starting to be bad. And, you know, Jezebel, Spirit Jezebel loves to control people, so they love to block people, be the first one to block, so they can't stand it if you block them first. They want to get their words in there. Their demonic spirits want to do that, so. Okay, the enemy wants to accuse you of something that's not true to hurt you, and when you don't give them the time of day and block them from ever saying another word to hurt you, They can't stand it, but it teaches them that they can no longer control or manipulate. Manipulate? Manipulate you. Manipulate. Hey, we're going to be a whole lot of manipulating. I'm in a good mood. I'm happy. I have joy. I don't have stress, fighting, anger, arguing, nasty stuff that the enemy has. So the enemy doesn't like that. The enemy hates it when you're having fun, when you're laughing. They're like, hey, I want you to suffer like me. I can't have fear. I'm going to make you have fear. It's like, really? Well, have a nice day, because I'm not doing that. I'm going to go out for a walk in the woods and see some deer and have some acorns drop on my head and laugh about it. Ha ha ha. So the spirit of Jezebel comes onto a person when they have been hurt in their youth by soul wounds, oftentimes from their mom or their dad. You know, the enemy really wants to hurt us, if he can, from our dad, because our dad oftentimes represents God. And if he can get us to have an improper perception of God by getting hurt by our father, then he loves that, you know. And then, of course, if the dad doesn't hurt us, then he'll try and get the mom to hurt us, or stepfather, or stepmother, or teachers, or pastors, or anybody else. So that's how we get the spirit of Jezebel, is being hurt at a pretty deep level, or being sexually touched. It's really, you know, again, it could be that it's not even sexually touched. It could be that you look at pornography, you know, Playboy, Playgirl. They don't make Playgirl, I don't think, anymore. But internet stuff, looking at things that aren't godly. It's really impossible not to be sexually hurt in some way, and that can transfer the demonic spirits into us because of what happened to us. And then they cause us to remember and get triggered and do things sexually that are not good. And oftentimes, again, they're going to hear demonic voices in their mind at the rate of 50 to 60,000 thoughts a day, which is what the National Science Foundation did a study of in 2005. And the demons tell them to control other people, instill the pain that they received onto other people. So they try to infect, especially their own children or those they have relationships with the same demonic spirits that they do. Now, they don't know that oftentimes, they're oblivious to that, but their behavior is in such a way that it really comes against and hurts people. Spirit of Leviathan, Job 41, talks about in verse 34 that it's king over all the children of pride. So pride always comes in when we get hurt. Why? Because it says to us, you know what, you couldn't be protected, say, by your father or your mother or your pastor, because they all hurt you. So because they couldn't, you know, they didn't protect you, you need to protect yourself. You need to watch out for yourself. And so then the enemy will give you thoughts and words and then cause you to listen to them. You know what? And they think, and we think, that they are coming from the Lord when they're actually coming from the enemy. And we end up getting off course because of that. So anyway, Leviathan and Jezebel always team up together. Leviathan's pride. It normally wraps around a person's spine, it twists, causing them to have back pain, neck pain, can get scoliosis, get headaches, they can't sleep well at night. They try to read a Christian book or the Bible, and it puts them to sleep, makes them fall asleep, and it twists things in their mind. So they'll end up saying that they didn't say something that they really did say, or they'll say, accuse another person of saying something or doing something that they didn't do. So that's the spirit of Leviathan's function. That's what it does, and it teams up with Jezebel. Jezebel causes us to control, manipulate people, and get angry at them and get our way because of all that. So there's lots of ants on this oak tree, like everywhere. Next thing we'll see maybe is a deer. That would be cool to have a deer come walking out behind me, and another eagle going screech. We haven't had the eagle make its presence known yet. Wouldn't that be cool? All right, so the best thing you can do with people who want to strive and fight and argue and go off on you and provoke you and make you miserable is what? What's the best thing to do? The best thing to do is to keep your peace while dealing with people with those spirits of Jezebel and Leviathan. The best thing to do is to avoid them altogether until they choose to get their soul wounds healed through asking Jesus to give them a word of insight about their various wounds so they can forgive the person that hurt them, and then take away the legal rights of the demons to torment their thoughts. Also need to repent for their own pride and sin and get with the Lord, right with the Lord. and many of them attend church regularly. So the best thing we can do is, if a person refuses to get set free, healed, and delivered, is to be away from them, because otherwise they're going to provoke, they're going to strive, they're going to argue, they're going to get angry, they're going to get jealous, they're going to ruin your life. It's what those demonic spirits do. So the best thing to do is to say, I'm not going to participate. Nope, not going to do that. So, never engage with the enemy and others. Avoid them, because the demons in them will want to wear you out, accuse you, strive, fight, cuss at you, make your life miserable. Just say no. Do it on social media or anywhere. If you have to engage, just realize that their assignment is to make your life miserable and to cause confusion, get you to go in circles, get you to think that you're the crazy one, you're the bad one. So the less that you interact with a person that has demonic spirits, the better that it is for you. You can never reason with demons in a person. You can't convince them. You try and convince someone who is completely sold out that doing bad things is good, then you're going to waste your time. If they think that abortion is a good thing, that's not right. They need to watch the movie Unplanned by my friend Robia Scott, and they'll find otherwise, that no, that is an actual baby, and murdering babies is not cool, not godly, and you can't call yourself a Christian if you are in favor of murdering babies. That is not good. Doesn't mean that you have condemnation if you've done that as a woman in the past. As long as you have asked for forgiveness and repented for that, the Lord will be faithful and just to forgive and move forward. But it's those who are trying to continue that after knowing that those are babies, and that's not cool, then that's not good. So that's not what a Christian would do. That's what Baal would do. That's what Jezebel would do. That's what they did back in the Bible. They sacrificed babies. And that's what they're still doing today, but just in a different way. So some of it is even evil, more evil than what they did back then. All right. Let me see. I know it's especially hard if the person that's striving and fighting and arguing with you is your spouse. I know that. The Lord had me go there. I got the experience. I didn't die from it and came away from that, separated. And now I live to be able to help deliver more people. So you get the anointing oftentimes, well, most every time. The only way you can get anointed is to go through something. And when you've come through it and you come out the other side and you're not dead, then you've got the experience and the understanding that you can speak into the lives of others to help them out and to bring them over to the other side. It is still raining. I don't know if you can hear it or not. It's raining harder. Okay, let me complete this. So I know it's especially hard if they're your spouse. If they refuse to own their own issues, then their issues, their demons, will own them, and the Lord will confirm when it may be time to separate from them in order to have peace, as the demons in them want to stop you from peace in your assignment in Christ. Also, you may couldn't read because there's water on my iPad. Also, you may need to give your mom or dad over to the Lord, because if they refuse to get delivered, then they will try to infect you and hurt you over and over, which will stop you from doing anything effectively for the Lord. You can honor your father and mother by giving them the Lord if they try to come against you. So, keep your peace on. Keep your joy on. Keep your love on. Keep your laugh on, your sense of humor. Do things that bring you peace. Disengage from social media and watching YouTube videos for a couple of days if you need to. You know, I love bike rides. I love walks. I love jogs. Hikes in a forest, like right here. I like getting rained on, but not poured on, and not having acorns pummel me for an hour. So, I love going to rivers, lakes, oceans, you know, climbing mountains and stuff. So stay away from people who create strife and don't engage with them at any level as much as you are able to. Love everyone like Jesus. Pray in tongues. Listen to fun music or worship music. And trust God to protect and provide for you. And you can save yourself so much time and stress by simply disengaging with the enemy and not striving and not fighting and not arguing, because that's what the enemy wants to do, is to steal your peace, provoke you, get you to go off on social media with somebody that you don't even know, fighting, striving, arguing. It's ridiculous. Do not strive, do not fight, do not engage with the enemy. Just let them go. And if you have to block, you block. And then walk in the peace. You know, the Lord, you don't see, you know, you think about the Bible in Jesus days, and the Pharisees and the scribes wanted to fight and strive and argue all the time. They wanted to pull him into a big argument. So you can imagine probably every time he's walking in Jerusalem and he sees a scribe or a Pharisee, and they come walking towards him to try to get him engaged into a battle of words, he probably rolls his eyes like, here we go again, oh my gosh. You know, and he was great at keeping himself under control and speaking the truth to them. But again, understand that those that have demonic spirits are really good at twisting scriptures, really good at pushing your buttons, really good at exhausting you. And it's not worth it. It's not worth it to get into strife and arguments. It's best to simply part, separate, and then give them to the Lord if they're willing to humble themselves, repent. That's what it says in 2 Timothy 2, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, is if the Lord is willing to grant their repentance. So anyway, keep your peace on. And I didn't get hit directly in the head with an acorn. For those of you just watching, you're probably like, what? We've had, I don't know, 500 acorns that have fallen from the tree in the last 57 minutes. And I got hit on pretty much every other part of my legs, my arms, but not my head. It didn't happen. Even hit my iPad a couple of times. So anyway, keep your peace on, enjoy your life, and don't get into worry and fear. Trust in the Lord. And we will let you guys go. Alrighty, yay! Have fun. See ya. Bye.